Thank you guys for tuning in to another segment of the Sit Down with Malik Wright, presented by First Star Logistics. We need to discuss the Chargers. The Chargers recently made the long overdue decision to fire Brandon Staley and their general manager. But Daniel, for the life of me, I still feel the Chargers head coaching job is one of the most least undesirable jobs, and I'll tell you why. The move that they made to fire Brandon Staley was not because Brandon Staley um, it wasn't because Brandon Staley it was a rebuilding coach, something like that. They made the move because they see themselves as a championship caliber roster, and Brandon Staley wasn't getting those results. As a matter of fact, they were underachieving because they're not even in the playoff picture. They got destroyed by the Raiders in Brandon Staley's last coaching job for the Chargers. So the move made sense, but the reason why I feel that this is probably one of the least desirable jobs out there is because I feel like whoever they bring in as a head coach is going to be tasked with winning with this roster. You bring in guys like Khalil Mack, you bring in guys like Bosa, you got the receiving core, Quentin Johnston, sorry, I always butcher his name. Austin Eckler still, obviously. Justin Herbert, the franchise quarter. You got this roster, and the expectation is to be competing for the championship, the Super Bowl. But even before that, competed for a playoff spot. Even before that, competing to win your division. They're not doing any of that right now. So for me, there was a lot of, hey, let's get a lot of names out there. Let's get a lot of names and put it together on this Chargers team and then see if we can put it all together. That's fine. That's fine if it works. But what if it doesn't work? So meaning whoever they bring in as the head coach, Daniel, is going to have to undo whatever Brandon Staley did when he was the head coach. They're going to have to try to make these players that may not fit their system fit their system. So now, be it the next head coach is coming in with an insurmountable amount of pressure. You can't even get your own guys in there. You are tasked with winning with the roster that we've currently constructed. Best of luck. That's basically what the next head coach of the Chargers is going to be told. So for me, it's a job that if I'm anybody looking for a head coaching position, you have to hold your horses for a second and understand what you're getting yourself into. I'd like to think, Daniel, that they probably go with an offensive mind coach this time.
Yes.
Can an offensive minded coach build the confidence of Quentin Johnston back up? Get the most out of an aging Keenan Allen who's been dealing with injuries the last couple of seasons? Get Austin Eckler's mind right to where he wants to stay a Charger? I don't know. I feel like that's a tough task. Daniel, what say you?
So first off, I agree with you. I think the part that you said that a lot of people don't actually understand is the fact that when a new GM and a new head coach comes into town, a lot is going to change just because of their philosophy. Like, put yourself in a perspective of Madden, for example, right? Anytime I join a team on Madden, I want the guys that I play with. I like using running quarterbacks, so I'm going to go out there and trade for a running quarterback. I like having running back, a third down back, so I'm going to go out there trade for a third down back. It's the same thing in the NFL. A new GM and a new head coach is going to want their guys. So I agree with you. Where I think we're a little the point I think that the Chargers have a lot to hope for is the fact that I'm just betting on them pushing all the bad out. I look at the GM, Tom Telesco. He's made the playoffs twice in the past 10 years. Twice. And I look at his tenure with the Chargers over the past 10 years has been a failure. You had quarterback like Phil Rivers. You had Justin Herbert in his early part of his career, and you made the playoffs last year and had a brutal loss. So I think there is a lot to work for. You have a franchise quarterback there, Justin Herbert. So I'm not going to say it's not as desirable because you have the franchise quarterback and because I look at there is talent on the roster. The offensive line is very good. You've got weapons on the offense, wide receiver. You have talent on defense. You have a roster that is in a more win now position than the other positions like the Chicago Bears, like the Las Vegas Raiders. So I agree with you. The new GM and the new head coach have a lot of work to do. I'm very curious to see what the new GM does, but you've got Justin Herbert on your team, a franchise quarterback. You've got talent there. So, in my opinion, I think you need an established head coach. I think you need somebody, obviously, this name's thrown out everywhere, Harbaugh. I think it would be a mistake to go out there and hire a first-year head coach, in my opinion.
Well, let me just explain something to you. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. I said this a while ago, where I feel like the parallels of um, Herbert's career and Philip Rivers'
Yeah.
career are kind of looking very similar. And I got scoffed at a lot of the times when I say that. But you say they, whoever the head coach is coming in with, this abundance of talent on this team and can win with this team. But I will throw back at the notion and say, when Philip Rivers was the quarterback of the Chargers, he had a lot of talent on his team as well.
Yeah.
Right. And what I've seen this recycled head coaching thing, or coaches coming in and they're expected to win with that roster that the previous coach constructed. Hear me out here. Marty Schottenheimer, right? Marty Schottenheimer was Philip Rivers' coach when he came in to the National Football League. Then Norv Turner was. Then Mike McCoy was. Then Anthony Lynn was. How many coaches is that?
4.
That's 4 coaches he went through, right? And then at some point, you're like, okay, one of these guys has to stick, okay? Well, Brandon Staley's now on his, I would say that, not Brandon Staley, Justin Herbert is now on his second coach, right? He's on a second
Yep.
coach. Well, he was that. He just completed his second coach. It was Anthony Lynn, Brandon Staley, and now we're bringing in a new guy to come in there. So when I say that their careers are kind of parallel, you need someone to come in and overhaul this thing, just to be completely honest with you. The thing with the Chargers was they were always good, not very good, just good. They were good enough. And it was just always carryovers from the previous roster. If you don't allow a coach and a general manager to come in and create their own culture and create and bring in their own players, you will get a system that's doomed to repeat itself. And I really fear that for Justin Herbert. And I think we'll be looking at Justin Herbert as he was in the hall of very good, not great. The statistics will always look good. The numbers will always look good. But what are you judged on in the National Football League at the end of the day? Wins and championships. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Philip Rivers, one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a long period of time. Completed his career, no championships. We'll be forgotten about. Not amongst Chargers fans, but amongst the league, we'll be forgotten about. Because it's about the end result at the end of the day. And so I say all that to say, I think Justin Herbert is extremely talented, but if the Chargers are not careful, he is headed down the same exact path as Philip Rivers. If you like more video content like this, do us a favor. Give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or upload content from the First Star Logistics studio.